Welcome to Politics Nation. I'm Al Sharpton. Tonight's lead, class warfare, Republican style. Folks, everything you need to know about class warfare can be summed up in this one eye-opening graphic. During the past 3 decades, the top 1% in this country saw their earnings grow by 275%. But during that same time, the middle chunk of this country only saw a 40% growth. This is from a government report. And the poorest fifth, they only saw 18% increase. This is stunning. For Republicans who might not get it, here's another chart. That top line, that skyrockets, that's the income of the top 1%. That line barely making any progress at the bottom. That's the bottom 20%. Those numbers are appalling. But Paul Ryan is even more so.
Instead of appealing to the hope and optimism that were the hallmarks to his first campaign, he has launched his second campaign by preying on the emotions of fear, envy, and resentment. Sowing social unrest and class resentment makes America weaker, not stronger. It's disappointing that this president's actions have exacerbated this form of class warfare in so many ways.
The president has exacerbated class warfare? Are you serious? The top 1% has tripled their income in the past 30 years, and you're fighting for their tax cuts? That's the real class warfare, right, Mr. Buffett?
There's been class warfare going on for the last 20 years, and my class is one. We're the ones that have gotten our tax rates reduced dramatically.
You heard the man, but all I hear out of you is this.
We could get into this tax the rich, but that's not the basis for America.
Higher taxes are not the answer.
Why are we even talking about tax hikes?
Tax increases, I think, are off the table.
Off the table? Let me show you how ridiculous you are. Let's pretend this football field represents America's taxpayers. The president is proposing a jobs plan funded by the wealthiest 0.2% of these taxpayers. That's about 7 inches of a football field. American taxpayers are this whole field. And your party is concerned about 7 inches of it. That's about half the length of an actual football. And you accuse this president of class warfare.
When I wake up every single morning, what I'm thinking about is how do we create an America in which you have opportunity, in which anybody can make it if they try, no matter what they look like, no matter where they come from, no matter what race, what creed, what faith. We are going to make the dream that all Americans share real once again. And that starts right now. It starts with you.
Joining me now, Congressman Keith Ellison, Democrat from Minnesota, and Jared Bernstein, former economic advisor to Vice President Biden, now a senior fellow at the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities and an MSNBC contributor. Thanks to both of you for joining me tonight. Congressman, how are Republicans saying things like this with a straight face?
It's impossible to know how they do it with a straight face, but there is absolutely no doubt that there has been class warfare, and as Warren Buffett correctly pointed out, his class has won. But what's even more shocking is that every Republican candidate wants to even intensify and increase the difference between the rest of us and the super rich. As a matter of fact, every single candidate running for a Republican nomination, their plan increases taxes on the middle class. And yet, if you look at the 999 plan, which Herman Cain touts, his plan would cut taxes on the top 10th of 1% by $1.4 million a year, but it would raise taxes on the average working American by $3,000. On the top 1%, it would cut their taxes by about 238%. This is outrageous. And you know what? There's no doubt why people are occupying everywhere. This is absolutely intolerable, and Americans aren't going to stand for it.
Jared Bernstein, when you look at the Ryan plan, let's go off of what the congressman just said. Look at the Ryan plan. It says that 2/3 of the cuts come from low-income programs, $2.9 trillion.
Yeah.
Other program cuts, $1.6 trillion. So they're talking about the president with class warfare, while they want to cut programs to the poor.
Right.
While they want to protect tax cuts to the rich and then turn around with class warfare. You know, I come from New York. It's like going out Times Square with three-card Monte. They're playing a shell game on the American voters.
Right. And in fact, if you look at Ryan's budget, what he does with those savings, the trillions he's taking from programs for the most vulnerable, is he pours them right into the tax cuts for those at the very top of the income scale. In fact...
Wait a minute. Rewind. Say that again,
okay,
because I want people to get this.
Right.
So he, in effect, is cutting programs for poor and working class people to pay for the richest tax cut.
To pay for the richest tax cut. I mean, this is Robin Hood in reverse, okay? You take from the poor, you give to the rich. Now,
it's just plain robbing, but go ahead.
Yeah, so you can really draw a very consistent line, Reverend, from the budget that the House Republicans have adopted, Paul Ryan's budget, to the very plans that Congressman Ellison was just very accurately discussing. And the problem that I think the American people have with this is it's piling on. It's unnecessary roughness, to get to your football analogy, because we already have a big inequality problem. This makes it a lot worse.
Now, Congressman Ryan also, he doesn't stop there. He goes into his Medicare plan. Ryan's Medicare plan is to privatize through a voucher program, raise costs for seniors by $6,400 in 2022. And the Wall Street Journal said the plan will essentially end Medicare. I mean, are we going bonkers or what here?
Well, in my opinion, this is a bonkers plan. It is Robin Hood in reverse. It's Robin, like you said, stealing. But the thing is, the American people have a role in this. We can stand up and say no more. We are not going to tolerate this cruel, callous economic system which punishes work and rewards people who already have so much. The fact of the matter is, the American people don't resent rich people. We just resent being ripped off. The American people want to have an American dream in which any kid anywhere can aspire to do well if they work hard. That's not too much to ask for.
But Congressman, see, I think that again we have the wrong premise. You're absolutely right. Why are we defending that? We're not doing anything to rich people. They're cutting poor people. Yeah. It's not whether we have something against rich people. It's whether they have something against poor people and working people.
Exactly.
No one's proposing to do anything to rich people but say pay your share.
Exactly. Right? It's as if you came into the American economy from outer space and you looked around and you decided the problem here is that rich people don't have enough money.
Right.
And that retirees have too much health care security and too much retirement security. And the poor have their safety nets are too strong. So we have to reverse all of that. And the middle class.
And we're going to reward the rich with more money. We're going to take it from the poor. And we're going to accuse the president, as Ryan said today, of class warfare if you dare interrupt the conversation.
Exactly. So what the Republican road, the problem with the Republican plan, simply put, is that they're scratching exactly the wrong itches. We've got a lot of real problems in this economy. You heard the president talk about them in your introduction. Jobs, incomes for the middle class. All of these things go exactly the wrong way. And that's why the American people are so disappointed, so actively upset that folks in this town simply aren't listening to them.
Now, Congressman, it's not just Ryan. I would not want people to think this is just a Ryan deep problem. Look at Boehner. Boehner, you're the speaker in your house at this point, certainly no choice of yours. He talked about deregulation today. Look at how he is trying to deregulate everything so we again expand this inequality.
This is a federal regulatory onslaught like no one has ever seen. Listen, I don't want dirty air. I don't want dirty water. Come on. It's about what makes sense in order for America to be able to compete.
Now, we need to regulate because we're trying to protect people. He calls this talking about dirty water and dirty air like it doesn't mean anything. And then when he makes these arguments about deregulation, Jared, let me show you this graph of who did the regulating and deregulating. Mr. Obama, President Obama has done 5% fewer than President Bush. So again, they are saying things that are not true. That's why we come on here every night so the American people understand the difference between what is real and what is spin.
Look, the Republican Party for a long time, as everyone watching you knows, has an agenda to cut taxes and to deregulate. The fact that they're now trying to map this onto a jobs plan is something that is very simple to see through. All of a sudden, shuttering, closing the EPA becomes a jobs program. That's simply not serious. It's not credible. What the president is out there talking about right now, the measures from his Jobs Act, will unquestionably create some employment, get the unemployment rate moving in the right direction. But as long as these guys are blocking him, again, they're simply not addressing what America needs them to address.
Now, Congressman, let me ask you a question, though.
Yes,
all of them are off track because I need to ask you this. Certainly the populism espoused by Herman Cain in 999 would certainly handle some of this inequality, wouldn't it?
It would expand inequality. As a matter of fact, I hope you can see this little chart. Let me tell you what it actually says, Reverend. It shows that under the 999, the middle-class people would see their taxes go up by about $3,000, but the top 1% would see their taxes cut by $238,000 a year, and the top tenth of 1% would see their taxes cut by $1.4 million a year. 999 will take an already bad situation and make it way, way worse. The 999 needs to be 86.
E2 Herman, you stab us too. Congressman
Absolutely.
Keith Ellison and Jared Bernstein, thank you for coming on the show tonight.